Happy Friday, Chiefs Kingdom. I am Harrison Graham, back with another video for you guys. Today we got some Chiefs news and rumors. Of course, Kansas City has the weekend off during Wild Card Weekend. Should be fun to see who they end up matched up with. But we still have a lot to get to on today's show, including Eric Bieniemy, as he has done an interview with the Indianapolis Colts. Talk about that a little bit here on today's show, as Jim Irsay, the Colts owner, just tweeting it out himself, breaking the news, just completed our interview with Eric Bieniemy. And you know what's a crazy note about this now for EB? He has now interviewed with half of the NFL teams for a head coach job. 16 of the 32 teams he has now interviewed with over the past several years. I mean, he has been in the mix for a while, but he has been unable to secure a head coaching job. Maybe, just maybe, the Colts are the right team for him. Now, what I will say is Indianapolis is interesting because Colts GM Chris Ballard is on the hot seat a little bit because quarterback has been a problem for the Colts since Andrew Luck left. And if you're Eric Bieniemy and the Colts want you, well, it sounds like Chris Ballard's going to do whatever it takes, that's a direct quote from him, to get the right quarterback, and it sounds like they're going to try and do so through the draft, because there's also a report out there that the Colts don't want to trade or go out and get Derek Carr. So, say, them picking at number 4, say someone falls there like Will Levis, or maybe they trade up to number 1 with the Chicago Bears and go get a guy like Bryce Young. So it'll be very interesting to see what ends up happening. But Bieniemy has interviewed with the Indianapolis Colts, and it could be an appealing job if they end up with one of these gunslingers. Bryce Young, we'll see on C.J. Stroud. There's some buzz that maybe, just maybe, he'll stay in Columbus at Ohio State for another year. There's been some chatter that Indy likes Will Levis, so who knows what happens. And look, at this point, if you're Bieniemy, if you want to be a head coach and any team offers, I think you have to take it. You can't really be picky, but I do think it could be a decent fit. They have some decent talent on both sides of the ball. They just got to get a quarterback, and maybe Bieniemy likes a guy like Bryce Young, and they're able to go up and get him. Now, if it's going to be another team for Bieniemy, these are the only other open jobs right now. The Arizona Cardinals are a fit or an opening right now. Carolina Panthers, the Denver Broncos, and the Houston Texans as well. Those are the open jobs at this point in time, with the Colts being the only team that we know has interviewed Eric Bieniemy. Now, is this the year? Will Eric Bieniemy get the Colts head coaching job? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Is this the time for one Eric Bieniemy? Go ahead and type your votes down in the comments. All right, let's move on to the next story. DeAndre Hopkins, Cardinals expected to shop Hopkins this offseason, and the betting odds have come out. And are the Chiefs the favorites to land DeAndre Hopkins? They actually are, according to a couple sports books, plus 300 odds for Nuke to end up in Kansas City. Patriots at plus 325. Packers at plus 450, Cowboys at plus 550, Giants at plus 550, and then the Detroit Lions at plus 1,000. Also, I'll just verbally mention this, the field was listed at plus 500 because obviously there are 31 other teams outside of Arizona. So listen, DeAndre Hopkins is a guy that I would be interested in. I would be surprised if KC traded for him, and the reason is they didn't pay Tyreek Hill. So why would they go out and trade and pay for DeAndre Hopkins? Now, I'm not saying I wouldn't be open to doing it or that I wouldn't do it, but Tyreek Hill is younger and still potentially ascending. I don't know if Hopkins is still getting better at this point, so I do think that is something to consider at this point in time. But DeAndre Hopkins, certainly a very talented player. We'll talk a little bit more about this here in just a moment. But I do want to talk about today's sponsor, as the Chiefs Report is sponsored by Fume. Listen, we all have bad habits. We just do. And we certainly know how hard they can be to kick those bad habits. Our sponsor, Fume, is on a mission to accelerate humanity's breakup from the bad habits that consume far too many of us. Fume is a natural diffuser device that uses plants and behavioral science to help you trade out your negative habit for a positive one. I didn't expect much out of Fume when I got it, but the minty sensation is really powerful and really hits the back of the throat. I'm a big fan of all their flavors, the maple pepper, the crisp mint, and the white cranberry. You see the item there on the screen, very easy to hold and to use with the different flavors there as well. Now, I do want to make it clear, Fume is not a vape. It's a non-electronic device designed to help transform your negative habits. The easiest way to stop a bad habit is to switch to a positive one, and Fume is designed perfectly to do just that. Head to tryfume.com/chatsports and use code chatsports to save 10% off when you get the journey pack today. That's tryfum.com/chatsports. Use code chatsports to save an additional 10% off your order today. Tryfume.com/chatsports. All right, so you look at DeAndre Hopkins now. He, of course, bid his farewell. Forever grateful, tweeting this out. Reports coming out that the Cardinals plan on shopping him. So I think they are on the same page as both Hopkins and Arizona are going to part ways. Now, could the Chiefs get in on him? Betting odds suggest they could. I like DeAndre Hopkins. For a while, for me, he was the best receiver in football. I still think when fully healthy, he can be in that conversation. Now, 2021 missed some time with an injury. 2022 had a 6-game suspension, so he's missed some time. But when he's been out there, he's still been productive. I think he'd be a great fit with Patrick Mahomes. But I still get back to that thought of, if they didn't pay Tyreek Hill, are they going to go out and trade for and get Hopkins a new deal? I don't know. That seems like a bit of an unlikely scenario to me. Now, would you go out and trade for DeAndre Hopkins? Now, maybe you get Hopkins at like $23, $24 million a year. Tyreek Hill got $30. Maybe you're willing to do that much. Type T for trade, type P for pass. Curious to see where Chiefs Kingdom lands on this one. Help us out, help us grow. Subscribe to the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports by hitting the subscribe button. It's 100% free. We publish daily videos, including the latest Chiefs news, rumors, injury updates, and a whole lot more. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We're going to have you covered here on the Chiefs Report. So go ahead and subscribe. It's youtube.com/ChiefsTV. And as soon as we know who the Chiefs playoff opponent is, we will announce that for all of you. Let's talk about one Kliff Kingsbury, as the Arizona Cardinals fired Kliff on Monday. He, of course, was Patrick Mahomes' head coach at Texas Tech. Arizona looking for a new head coach. Eric Bieniemy, who knows? But could Kliff Kingsbury be an assistant coach for the Kansas City Chiefs? Could he take a step back and, take some sort of an offensive analyst job? He certainly has enough money if he wants to go that route. Kliff is owed $30 million over the next 4 years because, remember, Arizona gave him a contract extension last offseason, and then they fired him a year later. So, look, he doesn't have to coach if he doesn't want to, but if he wants to stay in the game and, take a step back and, hang out in a winning organization for a year or two, Kansas City could be a place for him to kind of rehab his image just a bit. And obviously Patrick Mahomes and him have a good relationship, as Mahomes played for him at Texas Tech and put up gaudy numbers. I mean, over 11,000 passing yards, 93 touchdowns, and 29 interceptions, with most of that damage done in just 2 seasons. I'd love to see Kliff on this staff. I think he'd be a good addition, and I think what it would do is it would leave you in a good spot if, say, even if Bieniemy and Matt Nagy return next year, which I think Nagy will for sure be back on this staff, but if Bieniemy gets a head coaching job, then, well, one of these guys could be your offensive coordinators, other one's QB coach. Even if everyone's back, it leaves you room where if one of them were to leave in 2024, then Kliff could slide up and be the quarterback's coach or the offensive coordinator as well. I'd like to see it happen. I think Kliff is a good coach. I just don't think he's a head coach. I think he knows offensive football. I would like to see him get on board, but he will certainly have other opportunities, including potentially being the New England Patriots offensive coordinator as they are searching for a new OC. Now, should the Chiefs hire Kliff Kingsbury? What do you guys think? Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. Let me know on today's show. 1 for yes, 2 for no. Should the Chiefs hire Kliff Kingsbury? All right, that's going to do it for today's show. Be sure to follow me on social media at HGramNFL on Twitter, at HGramNFL on Instagram. And if you want to hit me up with the Chiefs question, that is where you could do so. We will be back tomorrow with the mailbag video, so be sure to stick around for that, and we'll see you then.